morning, guys. This is going to be math for Wednesday, okay? So I have our learning target from the other day. We're still learning to round, and I've come up here and I have defined round again. So when we round, we're changing our number to make it easier to use. It's going to be similar to the number, but we're rounding it to make it easier to use, so that way when we add, we can round up, round down, and it's easier for us to round when we have a friendly number that we have there to work with. So we're learning to round to the nearest tens place and hundreds place, okay? So let's go to our first problem here. One thing I want to look at is the rounding hill. We looked at this yesterday, okay? So a rounding hill is something you're going to need to keep in your head, because if you start at 5 is kind of your halfway point. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all going to round up. So they're going to round up to the next tens place or the next hundreds place. If it is 4, 3, 2, or 1, it's going to round down to that tens place or hundreds place, okay? So that's something you want to keep looking at. So in your math workbook for today and in your visual learning, you had this question here, okay? So about how many rocks does Tito have? Round 394 to the nearest tens place. So I'm going to come up here on my page and I'm going to write 300. Oh, let me get my pen here. 394. And let me make sure you all can see that. You can't see that. So let me get a thicker number there. There's 394. Now we can see it, okay? So I'm rounding to the nearest tens, and I'm going to ask myself this question. What number is in the tens place? You've got that 9 in the tens place. Okay, so I'm actually going to circle it, okay? I'm going to circle that 9. Now to help me round, I'm going to come over here to the side since I'm rounding to the tens place, and I'm going to count by tens. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100, okay? So I've counted by tens there. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So I'll look at that 9. That 9 is worth 90. So I know 394 is going to fall between 390, but then it goes to 100. Okay? 394 is not going to fall between 390 and 100. So let's think of what's the next hundreds place. So let's count by hundreds. That's 100, 200. I'm at 300. What comes next? 400. So 400 is going to be that next hundreds place. So 394 is going to fall between 390 and 40. First, I need to find my halfway point. So if I look at tens, what's a doubles fact for tens? It's 5 plus 5. So half of 10 is 5. So my halfway point is going to be 395. Okay, so 395 is my halfway point. So when I get to 395, I'm going to round up to 400. If it's below 395, I'm going to round down to 390. So now I need to see, where does 394 fall on my number line? So there's 391, 392, 393. Oh, here's 394. So it falls before 395. So guess what it does? Rounds down to 390. So 394 rounded to the nearest 10 is 390. Okay, so that's how you're going to use that number line. Now, I think I'm going to round one to the nearest hundreds place. Let me look and get an example here. So if I'm rounding 350 to the nearest hundreds place, I'm going to put 350 up here. I am going to circle my hundreds place. I'm going to ask myself, what's in the hundreds place in 350? Well, it's that 3. Okay, I'm going to do my rounding hill so I have it, so I don't forget it. And once you memorize this, you're not going to have to look and draw it every time. So my halfway point is 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 is going to round up. All right, so that 4, that 3, that 2, or that 1 is going to round down. So there's my nice rounding hill for me, okay? Let's look at 350. I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to count by hundredths. So that's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900. And then what comes after 900 is 1,000. Okay, so if I need to draw a number line, so I need to look, what hundreds does 350 fall in between? It's going to fall in between 300 and 400. So I'm going to draw my number line. All right, so 300 goes down here. 400 goes here, guys, okay? So now I'm going to ask myself, what's the halfway point? What's half of 10? 5. So halfway between 300 and 400 is going to be 350, right? Which is our number. So if I had to fill this number line in, it would be 300, 310, 320, 330, 340. I have 350, it would be 360, 370, 380, and 390. So 350 falls there at that halfway point. When it falls at that halfway point at the 5, we round up. So it's going to round up to 400. So 350 rounded to the nearest hundred is 400 will be your answer. So if you have any more questions, you can email your teacher or you can watch this video again.